the thing we think of like the American dream, right? This certain level of comfort, not like luxury, that really feels out of touch. It really feels like we have a sorting hat in America, and it sorts you into like drudgery and brutal trying to make ends meet, or like a few people end up at the very top. There's a kind of class in between them who are always fearful falling down. But I do think that it's useful for both policy and politics to start with that project of like, what do we want to provide to people?
Boy, that's a nice point. I love that.
As the thing at the end of all this. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a yacht. I want to have a barbecue and crack a beer and have a little bit of space and like that, these basic things.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point. And it speaks to maybe something right now. I think we are in a cycle that's a little bit of a lazy Susan of populism. And it's either going to be coming around, and Bannon understood this very, very well, which is, if I can take my nativist shit and fuse it with a populism that brings in, I'm going to be able to peel away enough working class people and a variety of minorities that I'm going to get my, my anti-woke project and be able to work that through. And the Democrats, I think, were slow to recognize they use the language of populism, but without, in some respects, the understanding of. So I'll give you an example. And Dave, you speak to this. Let's tax the billionaires. We shouldn't have billionaires. And people are like, oh, okay. What are you going to use the money for? Like, if they don't believe, we're going to forgive student loans. You're like, right. But to my point, if you don't tie money to value for people, and that's the missing piece. And it's so frustrating to watch, like going back to the Kamala thing, 107 days was not enough time. Okay. It's been a year. Where's the non-incremental policies that aren't platitudes, that tie money to value? Why is it so hard to develop nationally for the Democrats?
Well, I think it's not going to come nationally. I think it's going to come from individual candidates, right? Mondami had his flavor of that. Cheryl. It's not going to come from Washington. It's not going to come from the DNC. It comes from candidates. And ultimately, our party will be defined by our next nominee. But until then, by these candidates in 26. So, John, I'm glad you raised this because there's this, I find it frustrating, debate, which is it populism or is it abundance? And, the truth is they swim together. So to your point, people would like to see the wealthy pay more. Some of that, a lot of that might even be punitive, which is not fair. It's not as strong as it should be because people don't believe that the proceeds will be spent in a way that delivers results for them, right? So this is where, as a party, if we can be much more focused about that and even being transparent when it's not working.